We're good? Okay, good to see everybody. There's not a lot more that I need to spend time on Saturday's performance against Ohio State. Again, I think they're a really, really good football team. I think there were times that we made some progress. We didn't play well enough for long enough to win against a team like that. And that's coaching, that's playing, that's executing, that's everything. It's not it's not just a very elementary statement. They're really good, and we're not there yet. So turn the page looking at Washington on the opportunities and the challenges that they present. I've known Jed Fish for a number of years. We had a chance to work together. It didn't quite get the deal done, but in 2017, I believe it was, I've got a lot of respect for him. Everywhere that he's been, he has proven to be a really good coach. I think you look at his first year at Arizona, I think they won one game. Year two, I think they won 5, and then they won 10, if my memory serves right. So he is able to, everywhere he's been, they've been able to get in winning ways. That's probably why his name is being mentioned for every open job that there is. He's a good coach. There's a lot of crossover and familiarity on their staff with me personally, with Jed being the head coach. Jimmy Doherty, when I was a student athlete and played at the University of Missouri, Jimmy was on the team. We were teammates for 3 years. Got a lot of respect for Jimmy. He's had a really good career. I've known their linebackers coach since birth. He's done a really nice job in his career. I know how his guys will play. And then obviously Ryan Walters and I worked together at Memphis and then at University of Missouri, and then obviously he was here. So a number of things that carry over from a personal standpoint of knowing what this team's going to be, how they're coached, the people that are behind the scenes, and I've got a lot of respect for them and how they've played. They're 6-3, and I know that they'll be hungry to play well at home. I look at the way that their offense plays, dynamic quarterback. He throws really well, but can create issues out on the perimeter. I think they've got at least three really good running backs. You watch how they mix and match those guys, their skill sets. Number 12, the receiver, is one of the best in the country, in my opinion. And then they play really, really hard, and they've got a great scheme. And then defensively, structure-wise, if you look at them, really impressed with the way number 48 plays defensive end. He's got a high motor, really, really good player. Number 12, the safety. He stands out every single time you watch him play. Both of those guys kind of jump off the screen on how they played. So we had a really good Monday preparation day. Staff did a nice job putting together an initial game plan yesterday. And then we had a shorter practice today, and our guys did a nice job of that. From an injury front, I think everybody that played in the game on Saturday, right now, I think we're in a position that we will have them at Washington. So that's a good thing. I mean, everybody in college football at this point, week 12 or whatever it is banged up a little bit. So we're no different than anybody else. But look forward to the opportunity. And, you've got to bring it every single week in this league because the guys you're going against are really good. And that would line up to what this week looks like.
Maybe you can speak on this even as a player, but as a defensive player, you want to stick to your assignments, but sometimes there's a quarterback that's just a variable that forces you to have to adapt. How does Washington's quarterback kind of do that?
Well, as I said, he's really good in the throw game, and then he gets on the perimeter and make things happen. You got to be really smart in your rush lanes because if you get past the quarterback, he can make things happen. I think he's got great speed. And when you combine that with really, really elite quickness, that can put you in a bind really quick because you can, you want to go man coverage and you want to go no low hole help or some of those things. And then there's times that you scheme it up great and you got somebody spying the quarterback and they're just not good enough to go make the play. So he causes a lot of problems. The dual threat quarterbacks on what they can create. Sometimes, the play within the play, we've got to do a great job on playing assignment football and doing exactly what we need to do. And then we've got to find a way to populate the ball. When he does extend the plays, we've got to be able to find a way, from the right leverage point and angles And those things, you've got to know where your help is and where it's not.
Just to follow up on the injury update you said, because you hadn't heard yet on Charles Correa after the game on Saturday, you got a positive report?
Yeah, he practiced today, and I think as long as we trend the right way this week and don't get anybody hurt in practice, we'll be who we had Saturday.
You guys in the portal this past season were able to pick up a lot of younger defensive linemen, and we're seeing a lot of those guys on the field making a big impact. Is this about what you expected that to look like, not just for what they could do this season, but the trend that could take into next season?
Yeah, I think you look at that, and if you can find a guy that you feel like can win in this league, how well can you continue to coach and develop them? That's a huge part of what our program needs to be. And then can you project well enough that you feel like, okay, he's going to help us initially here this first year, how big of a jump can he make to the next year? I think some of that's starting to show up, but the retention piece is going to be so huge. And I've said that a number of times, but if everybody wants defensive linemen, every single school is going to try to find more linemen on both sides of the ball. So how important it is for us. Hopefully we've created a culture that guys want to stay here. I'm not naive enough to think that we won't lose some, but also we got to be really good at, if we do, we got to make sure that we find a way to upgrade.
Did you talk to your brother about being on this staff instead of the one you're playing on Saturday?
We have talked. We worked together for years ago at the University of Missouri, and he's had a really good career, and I'm proud of him.
Ryan, going west, sometimes teams go out a day early. How are you handling that trek west here?
Yeah, I think you look some of our experiences. Last year we went to Hawaii from Las Vegas and felt like we had a pretty good plan for that. Look at the time that the kick is, what we really feel like we want to get done before we leave. We're leaving early enough on Friday that we feel really good about our plan. And then, fortunately, we've got to bye the week after because we won't get back to West Lafayette, probably till around 5 a.m. Sunday morning. So, on the back end of that, you worry about it if it's turning around for another quick game. But, our opponent and us both that next week we've got to bye. So I think that helps us out.
I'm not sure if awkward is the right word, but what's it going to be like facing off against Ryan Walters, a guy you said you work with, obviously,
Yeah.
2 different stops. Now you've got his old job. Just talk about that dynamic.
Ryan and I have known each other for a long time. I mean, probably, I don't know, maybe since 2008 or 9. I've known him a long time. I consider him a friend. I know his wife Tara and his boys, and so he's a friend. And when I got fired at Missouri, I went to Arkansas and as the coordinator, and leading up to that game because it's all based. A number of things are based around relationships, and those because you change colors, that doesn't change the relationship. It was from a personal standpoint, it was hard. On both sides, you walk across and you see your guys you recruited, and your players that just a few short months ago you're sitting there coaching and developing, and but I think the maturity of being in the business for a number of years. Ryan's a friend, and I hate coaching against my brother. I mean but we signed up for it, so he wants to beat me and I want to beat him.
Have you talked or texted with Ryan at all since you got this job?
I have.
Anything, just friendly exchange, or just how you doing, or?
Yeah, I'll keep that between
Okay.
Coach and I.
Who your mom and dad rooting for Saturday?
You have to ask them. I don't know if I've ever been the favorite. I don't know. It's strange. I don't know. But I would, the right answer would be both of us, of course. Say it again? No.
You guys obviously got a positive final drive with the touchdown, Malachi
Yep.
leading things. Any additional thought to just mixing that in more often, more conventional quarterback possessions with him as opposed to just the package?
Yeah, I think, as we've seen the last couple of weeks, there's been more normal, quote-unquote, normal play calls, within the offense. I do think he continues to develop and finds ways to help our team. We're excited about that. And, there's some guys that stepped up and made some plays to that drive, which was good to see. and I thought offensive line, we blocked well. We ran better that drive. So we're always looking for ways to creatively, find different advantages for our team personnel-wise, and what that looks like for us without, the flow of the game is so important. But if we get guys ready to go play winning ball, let's throw them in there and go play. So excited about what he did and what the guys around him did during those couple drives for sure.
More questions for Coach? Tom?
You just, Ryan, you have familiarity with Ryan.
Say it again.
Your familiarity with Ryan, you know his defense. You coach with him. You think that gives you any advantage on Saturday, that familiarity?
No, I think he's adjusted and adapted to his personnel just like most coaches do. There are things that you look at schematically and you're like, yeah, that looks familiar, but also he's adapted and adjusted and evolved. I would say, like most everybody does. There's always some things that you see on tape, and you're like, yeah, that's what I know and remember, and then there's some adjustments and changes in there, like, yeah, that's a new twist or something new that they're doing. So when you're in it for a long time, you have background similarities with a number of guys. So I think you would, there's no more this week than, their linebackers coach. He coached with Coach Henson for 3 years at USC. So there's a lot of carryover there on knowing what either side knows. So it'll be about a great week of preparation, and then how can we go execute consistently for 4 quarters.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.